I never thought my mistakes would catch up to me so quickly or cut so deeply. When I betrayed my husband, I convinced myself it was a moment of weakness, a brief lapse I could tuck away, something I could move past without ever having to confront. It started with a co-worker, just playful banter, a few harmless jokes, and then it slipped too easily into late-night conversations and quiet, stolen touches. Before I knew what I was doing, I was lying to one person who had loved me wholly and without hesitation for 8 steady years. Daniel was the kind of man people called rare, gentle in a way that felt safe, steady in silence, always present without being overbearing. He never asked for more than I gave, never pushed too hard. He believed in me long after I'd stopped deserving it. And maybe that's why I took him for granted. He made love feel effortless, so I stopped making the effort. The affair wasn't some drawn-out double life. It lasted a few months. But in that short time, it cracked something inside us that couldn't be repaired with apologies or pretending. I thought I had covered my tracks. I deleted messages. I kept my story straight. I smiled more, played the part of the loving wife just well enough to ease my own conscience. But I underestimated Daniel. I forgot how deeply he paid attention, even in silence. He saw the late nights, the empty touches, the way my eyes wandered even when I sat beside him. He saw it all, and yet he said nothing until the night it all came undone. When I got home, there was an envelope on the table. No dramatic confrontation, no angry note, just my name, written in his unmistakably careful handwriting. My hand shook as I opened it, breath caught somewhere between guilt and dread. Inside were 2 pages. One was a typed copy of our wedding vows. The other was a short note, just 1 sentence. I meant every word of these vows. I still do, but I can't keep pretending you do too. I dropped into the nearest chair, my knees giving way beneath me. I read the vows aloud, barely able to form the words through the knot in my throat. I promise to choose you every day. I promise to love you, even when it's hard. With every line, I felt like I was being pulled under by the weight of my own choices. I had broken every promise, every sacred line we'd spoken into each other's hearts. And now, seeing them again in print, untouched and raw, I felt like I was looking at a stranger, me. The note wasn't filled with rage. It held no accusations, just quiet grief, a silence so loud it echoed inside me. I called him. He didn't answer. I drove to every place I thought he might be, his brother's place, his parents' home. But Daniel was gone. All he took was a suitcase, his passport, and his self-respect. Days later, a friend told me he had flown overseas, said he needed distance. He couldn't breathe in the space we'd once called home, not when it was now laced with betrayal. The days that followed were a blur. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I just sat in the dark, staring at our wedding photo, asking myself how I had let something so sacred slip through my hands. I used to cling to excuses. He'd been emotionally distant. I felt isolated, like something was missing. But none of that held up anymore. Not when I faced the full scope of what I'd done. The truth was plain. I had broken the heart of the man who had only ever loved me selflessly. A week passed before I heard from him. 1 text. I need time to think about what I want next. No anger, no blame, just space. And that hurt more than any accusation ever could. He wasn't fighting for us. He wasn't even angry. He was letting go. And for the first time, I realized I had no idea how to live without him. I had always believed Daniel would stay, no matter what, no matter how far I drifted. I thought he would always be there, waiting. But this time, the door had closed. I started going to therapy. I cut off all contact with the man I cheated with, deleted every message, burned every bridge. I began writing letters to Daniel, letters filled with apologies, with truths I'd buried too long. I never sent them, but they helped me peel back the layers, one painful truth at a time. I wanted to understand why I had done it, why I had thrown away something so precious. It wasn't easy. Most days, it felt like pulling splinters from my soul. But I kept at it, because I owed Daniel that honesty. And I owed myself a reckoning. Time passed slowly. We texted here and there. He'd ask how I was doing in therapy. He'd say he was taking care of himself. Once, he even said he didn't hate me. That sentence broke something open in me. I didn't deserve his kindness. And yet, through it all, he never said he was coming back. The house stayed quiet. His side of the bed stayed untouched. His closet, still empty, stared at me like a wound that wouldn't heal. Then, on what would have been our anniversary, he called. His voice was calm, different somehow, stronger. He said, "I'm not calling to talk about us. I just wanted you to know I forgive you, but I don't think I can come back." And that was it. No dramatic pause. No false hope. Just the truth, clean and final. I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I couldn't. I had lost the right to ask for anything more. He said maybe one day we could be friends. That perhaps time and distance would allow us to find something small and honest between us. But the man who once loved me like I was the center of his world was now someone I had to learn to admire from afar. A memory wrapped in boundaries I had no choice but to respect. Each morning, I wake up and try to do better. Not to win him back. Not to chase some fantasy of reunion. But because I owe it to the woman I once promised to be, the one who stood before him in white, full of hope and vows. I failed her, and I failed him. But I'm trying to rebuild, piece by piece. The vows he printed still sit beside my bed. I read them often, not to punish myself, but to remember, to honor what we had. Some love stories don't end with healing hugs and open doors. Some end quietly, with lessons carved into ruins. And sometimes, losing something beautiful is the only thing that finally teaches you how to become someone worthy.